Guys, and today I wanted to talk about Sekou Doumbouya. So according to Shams Charania, the Lakers are progressing toward a two-way deal with free agent forward Sekou Doumbouya. Doumbouya, tell me, is it Sekou Doumbouya? Tell me if I'm saying that correctly. He was the 15th overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, and he is a credible defender. He can guard basically every position in the NBA. And in his 2 years in the NBA, he hasn't been what anyone would say spectacular, and it hasn't been great. And in the summer league, he didn't really impress either. Okay, in the summer league, his averages this past year, or just in total, he's played in 3 summer league games, and he shot 43% from the field and 10% from three. He's not a good shooter by any means, but what he has shown in the NBA is a guy who looks like can be a really good defender, even though his stats haven't shown it because he's never played more than 20 minutes a game in a season. So when you look at that, it's just like, but you know, this past year in his one game in Brooklyn, he didn't look bad. He had 11 points, a steal, a block, and he didn't have a block, but he had a steal, an assist, a few rebounds, and he was doing what needed to be done. But I think him being on a two-way contract, the other guy on a two-way contract is Joel Ayaya, and the Lakers right now have 14 people being under contract, with the 14th player being Austin Reeves, and then they have, 4 guys on training camp deals, which mean they're either going to get a veteran in free agency or they're going to sign one of these 4 players: Cameron Oliver, Sean D. Brown, Matt McClung, and Trevlin Queen. Okay, and it's going to be interesting because Doumbouya and Joel Yaya are two good two-way guys, and Doumbouya, arguably, if he was pulled up to the roster, would be one of this team's best perimeter defenders, arguably, like, without a doubt. So, he's a good player, Doumbouya, and if they can figure out his shot, or if we at least a way to utilize him correctly, then they got themselves a pretty decent player. So now, can Doumbouya actually be a good player on this team? Sure. I mean, Doumbouya plays, can play power forward, small forward, or shooting guard. I think he's better utilized at the power forward. But the problem with Doumbouya is when you look at this guy he's 6'8" and 235 pounds. And look, he's a good player. Basically, what I think is Doumbouya, when you look at this roster, Trevor Ariza is out now, so backup power forward, if LeBron's playing power forward and Anthony Davis is playing center, is Carmelo Anthony, and then there's no one. So Doumbouya can really fit in right there behind Carmelo. If Carmelo goes down, then Doumbouya can step in and be that backup power forward. Imagine if Thonmaker comes into this picture. I don't know why I just said that, but it just came to mind. So will they sign a veteran? I think maybe and give that 15th roster spot there, and then go with the two-way guys of Joel Yaya and Sekou Doumbouya, because they're both really good defenders, while Yaya can actually hit a shot. Matt McClung and Sean D. Brown were the two best, I think, out of the 4 guys: Cameron Oliver, Sean D. Brown, and Matt McClung. But besides that, I think it's basically fair game to whoever. I think Doumbouya is brought in on a two-way contract because he's a backup power forward, 235 pounds, 6'8", and Trevor Ariza being out now, he could be a slasher and a guy who can help with defense, and they could just slowly bring him to the two-way, and if they don't find anybody for that 15th roster spot, they could put him in the 15th roster spot and maybe bring in McClung. But really, it's front court help that they need here, backup power forward, because I think Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan are perfect as backup centers, and Anthony Davis. I know Anthony Davis is I think he's playing starting center and some power forward, but, I do think it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously it's going to be so much fun to watch. But, yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think I don't know if, overselling this? I wouldn't think that'd be the word, but I think Doumbouya is going to be a good player. They got themselves a guy that I think is going to have a lot of success for them if they utilize him correctly. And I think one of the best things that they could do is, I think, if they can get themselves Doumbouya to be utilized similar to Bruce Brown, is put out a power forward version for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets have had a lot of success with how, they've utilized Bruce Brown. And I think if the Lakers can get something similar to that and their guy, then hells to the yeah, I think they would want, that to maybe be something that they do. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Am I just over talking? That's done.